Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Dallas Meditation Center and Awakening Heart Community of Mindful Living. So glad you could join us here tonight. We're broadcasting tonight both on Facebook and on YouTube. So hello, YouTube, and hello, Facebook. Glad you could join us in this realm online during these times when we aren't meeting in person live at our center. But let's begin tonight. We'll begin with 3 sounds of the bell. And so finding that comfortable position, let's listen to the bell, and then we will begin. Well, happy May, everyone. Start of a new month already. Time is going quickly. But tonight we will do our usual practice of sitting meditation. It'll be slightly guided, and then we will have a talk, and then afterwards we will have a discussion on Zoom, and that link will be posted in the chat window later. But I welcome you to check in the chat window, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube, just to say hello. It's good to know when there's someone else out there when we're sitting here talking to a computer screen. So we will begin with our opening affirmation. Those of you who know it, I welcome you to say it along with us. And for those of you who don't, you keep coming back. You will keep hearing this every week. So let's begin. Noble community, we gather here now to honor the way of peace and nonviolence, the way of wisdom and compassion, the way of joy and beauty.
In solidarity with one another,
with all humanity, and with all life on earth. Friends on the path, we gather here now to deepen our solidity like a mountain and to renew our freshness like a flower.
Through mindful sitting and walking,
Mindful singing and breathing, and mindful speaking and listening. Family of awakening, we gather here now to celebrate the one infinite light that shines through many religions and many cultures, to cultivate the wisdom of our many teachers, both ancestral and contemporary,
and
to affirm the capacity within ourselves and all persons of every race, gender, orientation, and tradition to realize full and complete enlightenment. So I see in the chat window several of people that we know have checked in already. I'll read your names here in a bit. And for those of you who are new to this practice, we welcome you too. It's very easy to follow along. It's really about awareness and about taking a moment to look at what you're doing right here and right now, and kind of to bring our mind into the present moment rather than wandering all of those places into the past or into the future that it can wander. And if you'll notice in the chat window on YouTube, anybody, I've already posted near the top about Giving Tuesday Now, and I thought I'd mention a little bit about that here at the top of the hour. So Giving Tuesday Now is this coming Tuesday, May 5th, and this was the day organized by the Giving Tuesday committee or organization to bring attention to those nonprofits that are working through the pandemic, whose incomes have been impacted by the pandemic. The Dallas Meditation Center being one of those that is having large financial losses while our doors are closed. And so that's happening this Tuesday, and you can already give now if you'd like. And I put a link up there for Dallas Meditation Center's Giving Tuesday Now. It's dallasmeditationcenter.com/DMC now, and you'll see that link way up at the top of the check-in or in the chat, the live chat. And we'll put something over on Facebook as well here in a bit. But any donations there or to other nonprofits that are working through this pandemic, would be greatly appreciated. And I know many of us, our incomes are impacted as well. So understood that some of us might not be in position to do so, but anything we can do to help each other out, I think is perfect. So I'll say hello to a few people. My name is Cornell, and we have hello, Catherine. I'm grateful for connecting with technology. We have Carrie, hello from Switzerland. And we also, oh, Carrie's on both places. Namaste from Switzerland. Jessica, hello. Barbara Wilson, hi there, grateful for Sangha and technology. Jessica Nolan, glad to be here with us. Jen Lee, glad to be here. Greetings from Dallas. Hi everyone, grateful to have all I need right now is what Heather tells us. Barbara Minsker saying hello and happy for good health. Oh, me too. Me too. Stephanie, grateful for this practice and for the present moment. A Free Spirit says, Linda Simmons. Hello, Linda. Grateful to be here. Michael is here. Hello, all. I'm grateful for the Sangha staying together. Yes. So nice that we have not missed a beat with all of our gatherings through this entire process. Rita, oh, hi, Rita. Grateful to be here with the Sangha on this beautiful day. And Billy says, grateful for the Sangha. Nice to see all those check-ins tonight because we really miss that in-person feel. But it's nice when we're here talking to a computer screen or to a phone, to have a little bit of that feedback. And so nice that we can experience community and Sangha even when physically we cannot be together. And I know we talk about that over the years, but look at where we are right now, that really is true and has manifested, and really happy that we can be together. So I will turn it over to Bobby, who will lead our sitting meditation now, and we'll do a guided meditation. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Cornell. And hello, everyone. Really glad I could join. I think before I do the meditation, I would like us to do the Medicine Buddha chant. We've kind of been doing this every Sunday, and it seems to me it's really helpful. It reminds us not only of the people that are really struggling during this time, but also the people who are helping. And I think it's important to remember that when you're chanting for yourself as well. So be sure you include yourself when we do this chant. So enjoy, and if you can sing along wherever you are, that would be great. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaishya Guru Vaidurya Prabha Rajaya Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tadyata Om Vaishya Maha Vaishya Raja Samukate Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaishya Guru Vaidurya Prabha Rajaya Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tadyata Om Vaishya Maha Vaishya Samukate Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaishya Guru Vaidurya Prabha Rajaya Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tadyata Om Vaishya Maha Mahavishashe Raja Samugate Swaha. Thank you. So, as we prepare for our guided meditation, I invite you to settle in wherever you're sitting or lying down, just coming into a place of relaxation. We're going to do a meditation that I've called present moment awareness. I know that many of you are aware that we access the present moment through our breath and through our body, because those are the two things that are always in the present moment. Our minds can wander, go anywhere, but the breath and the body are always happening now. We breathe now. We inhabit our bodies now. And so when we can bring our attention to those two elements, or either one of them, we begin to find ourselves, find our minds more and more being present. So, when you're ready, I invite you to just very gently close your eyes. Let your eyelids just gently rest over your eyes. If you went outside today without your sunglasses, you may have been squinting. So just notice if your eyes are still a little bit in that squint mode. And allow the muscles around your eyes and behind your eyes to relax. And feel that relaxation just moving into your cheeks and your jaws. And just very briefly scan your body to notice, where is there any discomfort? We might not be able to get rid of all of the discomfort, but we can learn to be okay with it. So just using your breath, breathe into those places that might be a little stressed or uncomfortable. And allow your body to begin to get in tune with the breath so that you come into the present moment with your mind. There are so many good reasons to be present. One really good reason is that in the present moment, generally things are just fine. And in the present moment, if there is some difficulty to manage, we have the clarity to see the best option. Present moment clarity helps us tap into our inner wisdom and deal with any situation calmly and with ease. So let's now take our attention to the breath. Notice where you feel the breath most in your body. Wherever you feel the breath most acutely, pay attention to that area, whether it's your chest, your abdomen, your nose. Just let your focus go there and watch your body breathe. Your body was breathing just fine before you began to focus on it. And so if you can, just step back into that observer mode. You'll be able to relax into the rhythm of the breath. Can you feel the air as it enters your nose and feel your lungs fill and expand? Can you feel the release of air as your lungs relax and air flows out of your nose? Do you notice that little pause when the inhale becomes the exhale? And the pause when the exhale gives way to the inhale? It doesn't matter if your breath is shallow or deep. Just watch. You may notice that your breathing slows down a bit or gets deeper. But whatever you observe is okay. We're just watching the body breathe. Breathing in and out in a relaxed, comforting rhythm. Now, if you notice that your mind has drifted and you're thinking about something other than my words, just gently come back to your breath. No judgment, no consequence. Just come back to the breath, back to the present moment. You can also imagine, if you like, that your mind is like a clear blue sky with clouds that appear and drift by. When thoughts do arise, just put them on a cloud and let them drift away. Come back to the breath. Sounds and body sensations also can be on a cloud that drifts away. Always coming back to the breath and the clear, open sky mind. Now let's again softly turn that observer's attention to the body. Scan your body from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, noticing any tension or discomfort that may still linger. Is there tension in your face? Can you let go of the tension in your face? Just feel your whole face soften and relax. Feel a little smile forming on your lips and feel your face relax even more. Let your shoulders drop with your next exhale and linger there for another breath if you like. release any burdens you've been carrying. And feel the stress melt away with each exhale. Breathing in ease and breathing out tension. Breathing in ease. Breathing out tension. Now let your attention gently move to focus on your back and your hips. With each exhale, allow your back and your hips to relax. Again, breathing in ease and breathing out tension. Let any tension, any tightness fall away from your legs, ankles, feet, and toes. Gently resting in the comfort of the rhythm of your breath. Just breathing in ease and breathing out tension. With body and breath refreshed, the mind will also be refreshed, present, and attentive. Follow your breath to a place of stillness within yourself. This place of stillness is always there, even when we're not aware of it. That place of stillness is also a present moment awareness. When the body is still, the mind is more likely to still. With focus on the breath, the mind becomes more attentive. Take the next few minutes to just rest in this place of stillness, in this place of present moment ease and awareness. Simply being present with whatever arises, sounds, thoughts, whatever comes up, just as it is, just as it unfolds. You may notice that when you are in touch with that stillness that resides within you, there is an accompanying feeling of calm. And from this space, we can really be compassionate and loving. So, from this place of compassion and love, we'll offer the metta meditation that always concludes our sitting meditation. And I invite you to echo each sentence if you like, remembering to include yourself in these blessings. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. May all beings be joyful. May all beings be joyful. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be at peace. Brahma Vihara Maitri. Brahma Vihara Maitri. Brahma Vihara Karuna. Brahma Vihara Karuna. Brahma Vihara Mudita. Brahma Vihara Mudita. Brahma Vihara Upeksha. Brahma Vihara Upeksha. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. May all beings be joyful. May all beings be joyful. May all beings be at peace. 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 Thank you so much, dear friends, for that wonderful meditation. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I really needed that today. So thank you. So tonight, I think next we're going to do the refuge chant. And then we will hear from Miles, who's going to talk to us tonight about the importance of mindfulness.
So the refuge chant reminds us that we are all truly connected, and our three jewels of our practice are the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, all energies that are within all of us at all times. We take refuge in the Buddha, the awakening heart of infinite light that shows us the way in this life.
We take refuge in the Buddha, the awakening
heart of
that
infinite light that shows us the way in this life. We take refuge in the Dharma, the awakening path of infinite light, the way of understanding and of love. We take refuge in the Dharma, the awakening path of infinite light, the way of understanding and of love. We take refuge in the Sangha, the awakening community of infinite light, those who live in harmony and awareness.
We take refuge in the Sangha,
the awakening community of infinite light, those who live in harmony and awareness. So tonight, our speaker will be Dr. Miles Sandoval, and you know Miles from some of you who have been here on weekdays Zen to Go. You may know Miles well. So I'd like to hand this over to Miles. It'll pass by Bobby.
Hello, dear friends. I like that. It's a nice way to address the community online. The theme for the month is mindfully together. And I believe this was set well at the beginning of the year. Is that correct?
Sort of.
We'll say yes, it was set at the beginning of the year. I really can't think of a better topic for the times in 2020. It feels like we have had to redefine the meaning of the word together in the last 6 weeks to some very creative ends. If you can remember back to just a decade ago, it was largely considered rude to have your cell phone out at the dinner table. If you can kind of remember the 2010, where you might have been, the atmosphere at the time, people used to step out to make a phone call because that was the polite thing to do. And these days, of course, it's not unusual to be having dinner with your cell phone. That is to say, you have your phone propped up on the table and your mom or your brother or your friend has their phone propped up on their table so that you can see each other eating dinner through video call. My family has been doing Sunday Zoom at lunch. We had a very Zoomy Easter this year. We're sharing this talk and this practice through the magic of live streaming. It is all pretty strange, isn't it? But voluntarily or involuntarily, change always brings with it an opportunity for growth. The same events that threaten to shake us up also invite us to reflect on our priorities as we have lived them in the past, and perhaps set a new course to embody the values and pursue the meaningful activities that we now identify as important. So, what is important in all of this? The answer to this question is, of course, highly individual, but there are a few things that are pretty universal to the human experience. And this includes matters of the most basic importance, like food and water. But it also includes less tangible but equally important qualities, like connectedness with ourselves and other human beings through our relationships. Whether you're naturally more of a social butterfly or more of an introvert, relationships are a pretty universal part of the human experience. Precisely because they include the relationship that we have with ourselves. Think about the language that we use when we're talking about our relationship with ourselves. On a busy day, we might say that we feel scattered or scatterbrained. We might be told that someone eccentric is not all there, which begs the question, if someone's not all there, well then, where's the rest of them? But together, phrases like these show that when we don't have a good relationship with ourselves, we feel somewhat scattered. In fact, the initial experience of quarantine reminded many of us of all the benefits we usually enjoy in our specific network of relationships. For many people, the messenger was a feeling of scatteredness, not quite being together, or the pang of loneliness when we tried to go without the usual connections that we have with others. But as days turned to weeks and March turned to April, and now we're in May, we have indeed become very creative in the ways that we can find shelter in ourselves and shelter in each other. Video calls have allowed us to come together in an entirely new way than most of us are used to up until 6 weeks ago. I'd like to take a moment to give everyone a big thank you for tuning in today. You didn't have to, but making the decision to do so required a certain amount of mindfulness. If we're at home for most of the day, the days can kind of start to blend together. But chances are you put this on your calendar and made a decision to be present as part of this community. You didn't have to, but you did. And I'm so glad that you all did. My hope is that you have also been able to nurture the integrity of your other relationships through texting, calling, or video calling. But this new form of connectedness also brings along a new set of challenges. Unlike the many incidental connections with others that we used to click with up through the end of 2019, tuning into a video call, at least for me, requires a certain amount of mindful intention. Pre-2020, we would have to see the bank clerk or the grocery store clerk. We required some intention to choose to tune in to this live stream or that video call with family. At the same time, being mindful somehow seems particularly challenging when screens are involved. I don't know precisely why. But when we are face to face, we can single-handedly demonstrate an intention for mindful togetherness simply by putting away our screens, putting our phones, tablets, computers, electronics on do not disturb for a little while, so that we can enjoy face-to-face time, old-fashioned now. When the company is on the screen, we have to bring a new level of focus to mindful togetherness. As many of us have discovered, it can be tiring to connect like this through a screen. It's okay to turn off the screen at the end of the day if you get the Zoom fatigue like I do. I think National Geographic recently ran an article on a phenomenon of Zoom fatigue. And for me, at least, it almost seems to require more effort to tune into the screen than it would to sit with someone in person. And it may be different for you, but if it is particularly tiring, can we try to have some grace for each other and for ourselves, especially if your job has you looking at a screen all day and then socialization is over the screen? I know that when I am running low on my Zoom endurance, oftentimes I'll simply turn the screen off and I get to listen to the voices from the people that I know and love. I have much more endurance that way for whatever reason. And if you haven't tried it so far, I'd like to invite you to try that if you find you have that Zoom fatigue at times. An alternate but equally challenging development experienced by many families during the past 6 weeks is the feeling of cabin fever, or being cooped up in close quarters with our household for an extended period of time. This is particularly applicable now, but is not unique to quarantine. Think road trips or staying with extended family for the holidays. Ordinarily, as I'm putting together a talk, I look to our historical or contemporary teachers for wisdom on facing such challenges. Thich Nhat, one of the most influential teachers at this practice center, is such a prolific writer that you can find an essay or a passage from him on just about any facet of life. But there's no pandemic passages yet. So instead, I wanted to share an applicable passage from one of Thich Nhat Hanh's past translators, Hanh, and it may help frame this strange sense of cabin fever in a new light. In one of his books, he says, "Even the most beautiful music gets tiring if I listen to it constantly. But if I come back to it after some time, it becomes wonderful again. Similarly, even my best friend can get annoying if I am with her for too long. But if I see her after a break, she is wonderful to see again. The trouble is not always the person." Of course, there's some unfortunate exceptions where domestic abuse is involved. But for most of us, can we take this strange kind of friction caused by rubbing up against the same person's quirks 24/7 and look at it with a sense of compassion? Compassion for ourselves, who may be missing the familiar breathing room of a few quiet hours during the day. Compassion for other members of our household who may be feeling the same pressures. After all, it may not be your spouse who is so inherently annoying and you who are so inherently easy to live with. It may simply be the fact of a little too much togetherness. Looking and thinking about these situations, I was brainstorming out loud with John, trying to find the right words to cultivate a sense of compassion and appreciation for household relationships despite the cabin fever. The first thing I thought of was the five remembrances. Ah, yes, nothing uplifts and inspires people like reminding them that you and everyone you know is going to die. And yet, here's a reminder of the five remembrances. 1, I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to avoid growing old. 2, I am of the nature to have ill health. There are certainly precautions that we can take, but there is no certain way to avoid experiencing ill health at some point during our lives. 3, I am of the nature to die. There is no way to avoid death. 4, all that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change and ultimately die. There is no way to avoid being separated from them. 5, and perhaps most importantly, my actions are my only true belongings. Together, my actions and their consequences, moment by moment, become the foundation upon which I stand. This is not meant to bum everyone out. This is a simple reality. Historically, life has proven itself to be 100% fatal. But might remembering these universal principles catalyze a shift in the way that we look at the other members of our household? How would we treat our spouse, our children, brothers, sisters, if we knew that this was the last day that we would have to spend together? Alternately, and perhaps on a more positive spin, can we practice looking at our loved ones with a beginner's mind, with fresh eyes, the way we might have thought of our spouse in the first few months when they hadn't done the same one annoying thing 1,000 times? Lastly, it may feel like it has been a lot longer than 6 weeks, but we must remember that quarantine too is impermanent. Much remains beyond our control in this situation, but throughout all of it, we're reminded that we remain the stewards of our actions. Perhaps taking a long walk in the woods can be an act of self-compassion, offering us some badly needed alone time when we start to feel squeezed. There's nothing selfish about this. Perhaps marking our calendar with upcoming Zoom groups or scheduling a new video call with family can be an expression of mindful togetherness that fits in today's world. By consistently choosing actions that reflect a loving heart and a willingness to flex with new changes as they come, we can manage to build an unshakable foundation in a largely unstable world. Like those barefoot college kids you might have seen in the woods, we can learn to slackline. This active, centered presence, in fact, may very well be the greatest gift that we can bring to those that we come in contact with through whatever means we use to connect. this active centered presence is probably the best gift that we can give to ourselves and to avoid feeling scattered, so that we do arrive to each new moment all together now. Thank you for taking action by tuning in this evening. Together, we are building a sturdy foundation for the entire community, one moment at a time. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Thank you so much, Miles. That was great. When I thought about mindfully together, it seemed to me that whatever I connected, whatever I thought about, brought me back to mindfulness. So thinking about being mindfully together, as Miles said, it starts with me. Am I being mindfully together with myself? So yeah, thank you. So I'm sure you noticed that in the chat space, there are all kinds of links. A link to the Zoom channel, which is where we'll go when we close out here. Also, a link to share your donation if you are able to do that. I know also Cornell put the information about Giving Tuesday up at the top of the chat box. So if you scroll up there, you'll see that. We don't want to emphasize it too much, but it is a fact that we are losing money since we can't be in person with you. And so your donation is vital, actually. So I know you want this community to stay alive and thriving as much as I do. And your presence here like this is very important. And your financial support is also very important. So thank you. So we're going to close with our closing chant. And then we will hopefully see all of you on Zoom. So let's, the closing chant is countless beings is how it begins. Countless beings we vow to free. So if you join me in that, that would be great. Countless beings we vow to free. Ceaseless afflictions we vow to end. Limitless truth doors we vow to open. The deepest paths of awakening we vow to realize. Thank you, dear friends, and please join us on Zoom. It's fun to be able to see one another, and it's also fun to share. And so, you can just come and look at everybody if you don't want to talk. But yeah, space other than mine looking back at me on this screen. That would be great. So I'm going to end here, and then I hope to see you over. So Heather says it might be a good idea to keep this session open until we're able to join Zoom successfully. Okay, good idea. I'll do. And then I will close this stream.
on and off. And so that will be useful to you. Bobby is here now, and Bobby, I have unmuted you.
And close that out so that
we
we
can
don't.
barely hear you, Bobby.
Yeah, that's because YouTube is still going to help out Heather. Okay.